Okay, so this is a video on the review for the quiz. The quiz is on solving systems of equations by graphing and graphing systems of inequalities. So we have 5 examples on the review for the quiz. This first example right here, graph each line separately, okay? So y equals negative 2x plus 4. This line has a y-intercept of 4. So you graph that first. The y-intercept is 4. The slope is negative 2. So that means from 4, you're going to count down 2 and write 1. Do it a couple of times so your graph looks nice. And then draw your line through that. Okay. This next equation, y equals 3x minus 1, has a y-intercept of negative 1. The slope is 3, so that means you're going to count up 3 and write 1. So right there, I did it again so it looks nice. Draw your line through those points. Okay. Wherever the 2 lines intersect is going to be your answer. So the 2 lines intersect right there. So that is your answer. You just want to make sure you write it as an ordered pair. So as an ordered pair, that answer is going to be 1, 2. Okay, this next problem, number 2. Y equals negative 1/2 x minus 2. This has a y-intercept of negative 2. And the slope is negative 1/2, so that means you're going to count down 1 and right 2. Do it a couple times so your graph looks nice. Okay, and then the other line, x equals negative 2. Whenever you have x equals a number, it's a vertical line, okay? So this is going to be a vertical line at negative 2. Vertical line. X equals a number is a vertical line. Y equals a number is a horizontal line, remember? X equals a number is a vertical line. And you'll see the 2 lines intersect right here. So that is the answer, negative 2, negative 1, as an ordered pair, remember? Okay, this next one. Negative 3x minus 6 equals negative 2y. That is not in standard form, nor is it in slope-intercept form. So what most people are going to do, I'm guessing, is they're going to put this in y equals mx plus b, slope-intercept form. So I'll do that as well because I think most people are going to do that. Okay. Divide everything by 2. Divide everything by negative 2, I should say, to get the y by itself. Divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2. And you get positive 3/2 x plus 3 equals y. Let me just rewrite that so the y is on the left. Y equals 3/2 x plus 3. Okay, so the y-intercept is going to be positive 3. The y-intercept is positive 3. The slope is 3/2. So if you were to count up 3 and right 2, it's going to come off the graph. So, you can do that and estimate it, but I'm going to do the opposite of going up 3 and right 2. I'm going to go down 3 and left 2. If you think about it, from here to here is up 3, right 2. And I'm going to do it one more time, just so the graph looks extra nice. Okay, draw that line. Like so. And now let's move on and do the other equation. Okay? So it's negative 4y minus 8 equals negative x. So I'm guessing most people are going to solve this for y. So let's add the 8 to each side. Negative 4y equals negative x plus 8. And now let's divide everything by negative 4. Divide by negative 4, divide by negative 4, divide by negative 4. Y equals negative 1 over negative 4 is 1 over 4 when you simplify it. 1/4 x minus 2. So that line has a y-intercept of negative 2. So let's graph that. Negative 2 for the y-intercept. The slope is 1/4, so you count up 1, right 4. And draw your line. So the two lines intersect right here, which is negative 4, negative 3. Okay, so now let's move on to the back. The back is inequalities, a little trickier. Okay, you have to be careful for shading and for the lines if they're solid or dotted. You have to be careful for that. Now, this first one, y is less than or equal to negative 4x minus 3. That has a y-intercept of negative 3. The slope is negative 4, so you're going to go down 4, right 1. That's not going to fit on the graph. So let me do the opposite of going down 4 and right 1. Let me go up 4 and left 1. This is going to be a solid line because it's less than or equal to. If it's less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, it's a solid line. If it's greater than or less than, it's dashed. So this one is solid. Now, since it's in y equals mx plus b form and it's less than, that means you're going to shade that one below. So this one is going to be shaded below. Let me do that lightly because it's not the final answer. But that's going to be shaded below. The other inequality has a y-intercept of 2, right there, and a slope of 1. So you're going to count up 1, right 1, do it a couple times, and this line is going to be dashed because it's greater than. So just dashed. A lot of times you can be tempted to just draw a solid line, but you have to be careful not to do that here. I've learned that the hard way. Okay. Now this line right here, since it's in slope-intercept form, you can just graph it using the shortcut. Since it's greater than, it means shade above. So this line you're going to shade above. And the final answer is whatever shading is in common to both of those lines that you just drew. So the shading that's in common is right here. So make that darker. This is the answer. Okay. This next, number 5, these are in standard form. Okay. So let me write down the first inequality. What is the x-intercept? For the x-intercept, ignore y, replace y with 0, and then pretend it's equal to. So pretend you have 3x equals negative 3. So all you do is you replace the y with 0, the y goes away. You have 3x, pretend it's equal to, right there, negative 3. Solve that for x, you get x equals negative 1. So that's your x-intercept. For For the y-intercept, replace the x with 0, so the x goes away. You have negative y, you can pretend it's equal to, again, negative 3, which means y equals 3. So that's your y-intercept. Okay? This is going to be a dashed line, so make your line dashed. Okay? Now, since it's not in slope-intercept form, we're going to use a test point. Let's test the point 0, 0. If you replace x with 0 and y with 0, you get 0 minus 0 is 0. Is 0 less than negative 3? Okay. Is 0 less than negative 3? The answer is no. So that means that your test point of 0, 0 is not a solution because it failed. So you want to shade the side of the line that does not have the test point. You want to shade up here. Okay. Let's move on to the other line. X minus 2y is less than or equal to 4 for the x-intercept. Replace y with 0, so the y goes away, and you have left over x equals 4. Okay, pretend that's an equal to sign. X equals 4, so that's your x-intercept. For the y-intercept, okay, pretend the x is 0, and what you have left over is negative 2y. You can pretend it's equal to, again, negative 2y equals 4, which means y equals negative 2. So that's your y-intercept, and that's your x-intercept. So the x-intercept is 4. Let's graph that. And we said the y-intercept was negative 2. Let's graph that. And this one is going to be a solid line, okay? A solid line. So let's do that. Now we have to shade. So let's pick a test point. Let's test the point 0, 0. Replace the x with 0 and the y with 0. That gives you 0 minus 2 times 0. So 0 is less than or equal to 4. That is true. That means you want to shade above that line because your test point worked. Now, the final answer is the shading that's in common to both of those lines, which is up here. So make this darker or erase the rest. Just make sure that you clearly show that this is the final answer. So make this nice and dark. Okay. So that's all for the review for the quiz. I hope that helped.